We think it's going to be an interesting 2012. We're forecasting an increase for sure. We had, say, 6 months ago, had been forecasting a more aggressive growth for the year because we've had a very good year. Saks has had a very strong year to date, and our year ends in a few weeks, and then we'll be reporting our year-end performance. But we've been very pleased. It's exceeded our plan. We've had very nice performance across most categories, and came out of a solid December business. So we're feeling, we felt very good about business, and we haven't seen an overall slowdown. We've seen slowdowns in certain categories. It's a very interesting time, I think, in fashion. The consumer is so much savvier than they were in prior years. What's good is extremely good, and what's not good is very bad. They're very particular in how they shop, and very particular in terms of what they buy. And they're savvy because they'll mix their wardrobe and they'll shop their closet more than they ever have. So we've just got to be very right on in terms of our investments. We've got to be very right on in terms of our service. This is a client whose service expectations have zoomed. As the internet has grown and continues to grow with great strength in the States, that's almost a no-service environment. So the folks who shop online realize that it's not a service environment. So when they come into a store today, their service expectations are, quite frankly, extraordinary. And we need to be extraordinary in our attention to it. So the product business, the product categories have been very interesting. First, our overall luxury business has been quite strong. It continues in the obvious categories of handbags and shoes, and we've made significant capital investments in both of those areas over the year and have a pretty healthy capital investment strategy for 2012. In fact, our overall capital spend will almost be double what it was in 2011. So, and much of that is dedicated to main floor renovations of handbag shops, expansion of core brands on the main floors of our stores. And it's an expensive proposition because once we expand, the floors aren't getting any bigger, and the big power brands are demanding more space, which is pushing out secondary and tertiary brands. So it's a challenge. It's one of the most difficult challenges that we're dealing with. So it's capital expensive, and it also forces us to make some really tough brand decisions on who we can be in business with and who we cannot. So we're looking at it as an overall brand. We're saying, okay, where does this overall brand play in our portfolio and how many stores? And that helps us make the decision about who's going to get the real estate and who's not. But what I find interesting right now is everybody wants to be a handbag brand, even if they're a ready-to-wear base brand. And there's just not going to be enough room for everybody to play in this territory because of what I just mentioned. So that's one. The shoe business continues to be super strong. We have rolled out a number of additional 10022 shoe stores over the past year, and we have 4 or 5 more coming this coming year. The men's business has been at a very strong season this year. What we didn't expect was men's tailored has kind of led the way, and in a year of caution, our men's tailored business was extraordinary. We had a very difficult time, quite frankly, keeping up with it, getting additional inventory. But throughout men's, the formal part, dress shirts, ties, tailored, sport coats, as well as sportswear and footwear, all been very strong. Probably the toughest part of our business and where the headwinds are the strongest is in designer apparel. It's either great or it's not great. And so what we're seeing, women responding to, they want color, they want sexy clothes, they want cocktail clothes, but they need to be sexy and they need to have color. And one of our biggest challenges, quite frankly, in this market is making the brand sensitive to this, where the product has been more tailored, more suited. The business, quite frankly, is very bad. Whether that's from domestic resource or European resource for us. So we need people to really take a step back. The old formula is not going to be the new formula, would be my message. And without going into specifics by brands, that our business and brands who been able to recognize this particular need has been extraordinary.